The woman who painted the invisible, a story about art, pain, and redemption. They laughed when she said she wanted to be an artist. They told her art wasn't meant for women. But what no one knew was that she didn't want to paint what she saw. She wanted to paint what the world refused to see. She was born in a small seaside town, where the wind seemed to whisper secrets only she could hear. Her name was Clara Estévez, an ordinary name for an extraordinary girl. From an early age, she saw colors where others saw only shadows. While children played by the shore, Clara would spend hours watching sunlight reflected in puddles, mesmerized by the way gold and blue danced together like living things. But inside her home, the world was gray. Her father, a strict man, believed art was a waste of time. Her mother stayed quiet, her eyes always lowered. At 7, Clara painted her first image on a cracked wall, a woman with wings. Her father made her erase it. But she never forgot that figure, because deep down, she knew it was herself. At 15, Clara discovered the school library. That's where she found the names of women who dared to create. Artemisia Gentileschi, Frida Kahlo, Camille Claudio. All of them suffered, all were silenced. Yet all of them left marks that time could not erase. She began drawing in secret, faces of women covered by veils, hands reaching out of darkness. Each stroke was a silent scream. One day, her art teacher saw her sketches and stared for a long moment before saying, "Clara, you don't draw what you see, you draw what you feel. That's what makes an artist." Those words lit something inside her, a flame that fear could never extinguish again. At 18, Clara won a partial scholarship to a fine arts academy in the capital. It was her first step away from her father's house and her first step into a world that didn't want her. In class, professors praised the men's work and dismissed hers as delicate, feminine attempts. They wanted flowers, she painted scars. They wanted beauty, she showed pain. One day, a famous critic looked at her canvas, a woman with her eyes sewn shut and her chest wide open, and laughed. "This isn't art," he said. "It's hysteria." Clara ran out into the rain, humiliated. But that night, alone in her tiny room, she whispered to herself, "If they don't understand what I paint, I'll paint until they do." The following years were marked by hunger and loneliness. She rented a crumbling attic in a forgotten neighborhood and traded portraits for food. The walls were covered with her paintings, all of them women, trapped between pain and transformation. One in particular stood out, a woman emerging from a cracked wall, half light, half shadow. It looked as if the painting itself was breathing. Clara started signing her work with a single letter, E. She wanted the world to judge the art, not the gender. No one bought her paintings, but the solitude shaped her. She would often say to herself, "Suffering is the brush the soul uses to paint its truth." One afternoon, an elderly art collector wandered into her studio. He looked around quietly, stopping in front of the painting of the woman in the wall. Then he whispered, "This is what the world is trying to say, but cannot." He bought 3 of her paintings and took her portfolio to a small independent gallery. Without her even knowing, her first exhibition began to take shape. On the opening night, Clara almost didn't go. She thought no one would come. But when she walked in, the gallery was full. Men and women stood before her paintings with tears in their eyes. In the center of the room, a sign read, "The woman who painted the invisible, works by E." A journalist asked, "Who is E?" The collector replied, "A woman brave enough to show what the world hides." That night changed her life and awakened a new kind of fear, the fear of losing herself in success. Fame came slowly, then all at once. Museums wanted her work, magazines wanted her face, brands wanted her name on their products. But the same men who once mocked her now demanded she soften her tone. "Paint something lighter," they said. "The public wants happiness." She tried. She created a series of colorful paintings, flowers, sunshine, gentle smiles. They sold well. But with every sale, something inside her withered. One evening, she stared at a finished painting and didn't recognize the artist who made it. "I've become what they wanted," she whispered, "not who I am." That night, she destroyed half her work and disappeared. For years, no one knew where she had gone. Some said she'd gone mad, others that she had died. But Clara, or E, was alive. She had returned to the seaside village where it all began. There, she painted quietly. Fishermen, seamstresses, children playing by the docks. Simple lives, honest light. Her art changed. It became calm, breathing, human. The pain had turned into understanding. There was no bitterness left, only truth. One day, now old and frail, she began a new canvas. It was the same winged woman she had drawn as a child, but now the wings were open, and the face was smiling. She painted for days, until her hands trembled, and the brush slipped. When she finished, she wrote on the back of the canvas, "For all the women who were afraid to be seen." The next morning, she was found sitting by the window, brush in hand, gazing at the sea. The paint on the canvas was still wet. Months later, a young curator discovered her studio and organized a grand retrospective. The exhibition was titled, "The Woman Who Painted the Invisible." The world finally saw what she had spent a lifetime trying to reveal, the soul of womanhood in all its colors: pain, light, desire, silence, courage. At the end of the gallery hung a handwritten letter. "If one day someone looks at my work and feels less alone, then my art has done its job. Art is not about beauty. It's about truth." Today, Clara Estévez, or simply E, is remembered as one of the most mysterious artists of her time. But more than a painter, she was a voice that screamed in color when the world demanded silence. And maybe that's what art truly is, the courage to give shape to the invisible and voice to the unspeakable. If her story touched you, remember this. There are countless other women who painted, wrote, composed, and dreamed, only to be forgotten. But here we remember them. Because art never dies, it only waits to be seen. Subscribe to History of Women in Art and Philosophy, and rediscover the voices time tried to erase.